Hey everyone, it's Nurse Dani, and today I'm joined by Trista Harrison. She's a women's health coach, and we are going to talk about prenatal exercise. And so if you are pregnant or thinking about becoming pregnant and wondering if you can continue with exercise routines that you've had, she is the woman for you. So she's going to answer lots of your questions about that today. Feel free to ask questions throughout the live stream. We may have some time to get to those in just a little bit. But Trista, I want you to have a chance to introduce yourself to everyone.
So like Nurse Dani mentioned, I am a women's fitness coach, health coach. I've been a personal trainer for the past 12 years. Just recently went through my own pregnancy, so
Congratulations.
Thank you. So now I feel like I can really dig deep and focus on the women's health portion of pregnancy. While I was going through my pregnancy, I just felt like there wasn't that much information out there, and a lot of it was contradictory too. So I did a lot of research and found out what I could do, the do's and don'ts, and today we're going to demonstrate some exercises for you guys that are safe throughout all trimesters of your pregnancy.
I'm excited. I get 2 workouts today.
That's right.
Okay, so let's say that I've been exercising to this point. I just took a pregnancy test. I found out that it's positive, and I'm so excited, but now I'm like, can I continue with what I've been doing? What advice do you have for that?
Yes, so that's exactly what I would say. I would say keep doing what you're doing. Just because you're pregnant does not make you weak. That was kind of like a past. That's how they used to say. That's how they used to put it in the past. Like, oh, you're pregnant, you shouldn't pick that up. But that's not the case. We're strong. We're independent women. We can lift some dumbbells. We can lift some weights. We can continue our lifestyle. We don't have to stop. We don't have to go on bed rest because we're pregnant now. So that is a very important
a lot of people
reminder.
Ask me, yeah, it is. I love that. It's like empowering to think I can still do this.
Exactly.
And a lot of people ask me questions too about their job. Maybe their job is very physical, like you're a server or something and you're carrying heavy trays and walking around for long periods of time on your feet. And absolutely, that's okay to continue if your body's used to it.
Exactly.
I wouldn't recommend getting a new job that requires you to do that if you're not used to it. And what do you have to say to women about starting exercise during pregnancy if they haven't been?
That's a really good point. So women that were not physical prior to becoming pregnant, this isn't the time to go out and run your first marathon or jump into some hot yoga or, hit your PRs in the gym. This is a time to gradually increase your fitness. So for example, I would suggest just start by walking.
That's easy enough.
Yeah, so walking
that's not overwhelming.
No, not at all. Walking is one of the most beneficial, best things you can do while you're pregnant, throughout your whole pregnancy.
And by the way, I can tell you that she's a model of everything she says, because yesterday when I called her, she was going on a walk with her child.
We were just finishing up our walk. I just had a baby. She's 1 now. And so we go out for a walk at least I try to every day. If not with her, I have a treadmill at my house. So that's, like I said, it's one of the easiest things you can do. And then here, the weather's beautiful right now. So it's 70 degrees and it's great to get outside, and it just helps get those endorphins in your body as well.
Mind, and soul.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I haven't been exercising, how long should I aim to walk when I'm starting, and what am I trying to build up to?
Well, just go out and do what you can in the beginning. Like I said, we're not trying to do a marathon here. So maybe 30 minutes, go at a light, easy pace where you can still keep a conversation. If you were walking with someone,
grab a friend and go.
Yeah, make it fun. That's what fitness is all about. So grab a friend, go for a walk. Once you hit 30 minutes and that feels pretty good, you can increase the intensity. So you could add some inclines, maybe some hills in your neighborhood, or if you're on a treadmill, you could do some intervals. So walk at a normal, just a plain flat incline, increase the intervals. We do, when we're pregnant, we really do have to focus on not overheating and staying extremely hydrated. So one thing I suggest to all my clients, pregnant or not, is at least drink half of your body weight in ounces. When you're pregnant, you actually want to increase that per day.
Per day, okay.
Yeah. So if you're a 140-pound female, you want to be drinking at least 70 ounces of water.
Remember.
Yeah, super easy.
And maybe a little bit, is that whether you're exercising or not? So if you're exercising, do you want to drink more?
Yes. There are a few indicators to increase that. So being here in a dry, deserty environment, you want to increase your water intake. When you're pregnant, still get at least half your body weight, but more would be better. And then if you're working out and sweating a lot, yes, definitely get more.
You're losing water. You need to replenish that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And dehydration, I mean, what you say is so important. And I want to highlight that for a second, because if you are pregnant and you become dehydrated, you may start contracting.
Correct.
And so that's another thing to keep on your mind. If you're exercising, you start to feel a little crampy, stop what you're doing. Drink some water. And with rest and hydration, sometimes that'll go away.
Correct.
And if it doesn't, then you should call your doctor.
Yes. So definitely call your doctor if the crampings are pretty intense, or if you start bleeding. Those are the definitely two signs to call your doctor right away. Stop what you're doing. Call your doctor.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Good advice. Okay. So, I love that we're not weak. Show us what we can do.
Okay. So, of course, in the beginning trimester, in that first trimester, you can still pretty much do all of your normal exercises. No modifications. Just really watch that overheating. So, HIIT exercises for that high intensity, jumping, getting your heart rate super elevated, those things you can still do if you were doing those prior to pregnancy, but I wouldn't jump in and do those right away, like an Orange Theory fitness class or CrossFit, where you're short bursts of high energy. Yeah, so those are great. You can still do them, just modify. Make sure the instructors know you're pregnant, because they may make modifications for you. Like I said, though, in the first trimester, you don't really have to make too many modifications. It's once you hit that second trimester or 16 to 20 weeks is a good rule of thumb as well.
Let me ask you this. In the first trimester and early second, a lot of women are sick, and they say I just don't feel like I can exercise. I might throw up. And so sometimes women stop for a little while or feel like they have to. What advice do you have for someone who's really sick?
I would
say, and then after they feel better.
Yeah. So I'm all about listening to your body. And if you're sick and throwing up and that's the last thing you want to do, then don't put your body through it.
Maybe you could just try walking instead.
Exactly.
Maybe some fresh air would help.
Yeah. Or if there's a certain point of the day where you feel good, like some women
Great tip.
Are really sick in the morning, but they feel great right after lunch, then go after lunch. There's no set time to work out. Just being active is the most important thing that you can do while you're pregnant. So,
you kind of slowed it down when you were sick and you're trying to pick it back up. You got to have realistic expectations for yourself and not think that you can go back to what you were before you got sick and stopped exercising, right?
Yes.
So you might want to start walking again.
Yeah.
Easing your way back into it.
Yes. Gradual is key there.
Okay.
Definitely. Yes, I completely agree.
Cool. So what exercises can we do?
Okay. So like I said, in the very first trimester, we can still do core exercises. We can be on our back. Once we get past that 16, 20 weeks, that's when a lot of the modifications have to be made. You no longer want to be on your back. If you're any plank type exercises you want to take to an incline, you can either use like a bench, or you can do those against the wall. You can still do some exercises on your back, but I would limit the time period to about 30 seconds to a minute most. And if you get dizzy or lightheaded while you're laying in that back position, just immediately get up. And generally it will go right away. When you're working out, make sure you're drinking that water too. So let's start with one of my favorite exercises. It's called the dead bug. So this one, you're going to lay on your back.
Okay.
And it kind of looks just like it sounds. So you're laying on your back.
Like a dead bug?
Like a dead bug. Your legs are up in a 90-degree angle, and you're pushing your lower back into the mat. So you're going to contract that transverse abdominal and think knees stacked over hips, and then like you're holding a big beach ball. From here, you're going to do what you can while still keeping that low back pressed against your mat, and you're going to take your arm and your opposite leg and just extend. If that is too much, you can keep that slight bend in your knee. So this one is great because you can modify it. If you can go all the way down and still keep your low back on the mat, that's great. And you're just going to alternate side to side. Bring it out as you extend.
Are you putting your head up so that you get a crunch in there too?
We're actually going to keep our head down. Okay. I like to put my head up. It helps kind of keep my low back onto the ground, but not necessarily. Once you hit that 20 week and you no longer want to be laying on your back, you can do that same position, that dead bug, with your back against the wall. You're in the very similar position. You're pushing your low back onto the wall. You're in this position and you're raising your arm.
Yeah, I can even feel that right now without being...
And so you want to make sure that every time you're doing an exercise, you're doing it with intent. So you're you know what muscles are working and you're contracting them. So we're not just flailing our limbs. We're doing it in a nice controlled manner, which is going to contract your abdominals.
Yes, I can feel it.
Good. So the next favorite exercise to do while pregnant, which this one is safe through all trimesters, is called a bird dog position. This one, you are on all fours in a tabletop position. So you're like so. When you're doing this one, you want to make sure that your shoulders are in line with your wrist and that your hips are stacked over your knees. And of course, at some point you are going to have a belly. So it may be more comfortable to go a little bit wider with your knees. There you go. So from here, you want to keep that tabletop, that upper back is going to be completely still. You're going to take, and this one you can do some modifications. You're going to extend your right arm and left leg, or left leg and right arm. You want to move with purpose. Squeeze that transverse abdominal in.
Like my goal is not to go like this or like
Correct.
that.
Correct. So nice and controlled.
Focus,
your belly button is pulled up and tucked in. And then you're just going to extend your arm and leg in opposite directions. Perfect. And a good rule of thumb would be anywhere from 8 to 10 repetitions on each side. And you can gradually increase, of course, depending on how that feels and if that's easy. And I would recommend 2 to 3 sets to start off with.
Would you add in any kind of like extended hold or something?
Well, you can. That's another variation. That's another way to get those glutes involved a little bit more. So yeah, that's a great
Maybe if you're used to that already, then...
Yeah, you definitely can. Well, there's a lot of exercises that you can do to get your glutes. So that tabletop position is a very safe position, as long as you're doing it with intention and not letting that belly hang down and sag throughout the exercises.
We were talking before about the importance of keeping your glutes strong and your abdominals, because it helps after. A lot of like staying strong and maintaining muscle mass is one of the benefits is afterwards when you are trying to lose the baby weight, you have some tone.
Exactly.
I remember one time when I'm totally airing my dirty laundry here, but after I had my second baby, I remember for the first time when I got in the shower after having the baby, like after getting rid of the bump in front, that's like until that point had compensated for the growing bump in the back.
Yes.
I noticed once this was gone, I was like, that thing is huge. I need to work on that.
Well, and having strong glutes is great because think you have this extra added weight to the front of your body. And then after you have the baby, you're still holding the baby in front. You're picking your baby up and down. So we need to be strong to move
do that, yeah.
and have that strong core and glute to help.
I never had such big biceps in my life as I did when my babies were little.
My strong
Car
arm
seat,
moms. Yes.
Diaper bag, ready to go.
Everywhere I go, people are like, can I help you with that? I'm like, car seat, bag, groceries. Nope, I got
good. I love it.
Yes. So, yes, very important to keep those glutes strong. So that's a great exercise. I also have some bands. So, you can use these circular bands and put them up just either above your knees or around your ankles and do tons of glute and leg exercises. So, let's go ahead and start.
I'm ready.
Okay, I'll just let you do it. I'll just talk you through it. You can get your workout in.
Awesome.
All right, so the first thing you can do is, like I said, you want it right above those knees. You don't ever want to put bands on those joints. So we have it right above her knees. Her feet are going to be hip width apart or just enough to where she feels that resistance in the band. And from here, we can do just a normal squat. So when you're doing your squats, remember your weight is in the heels. You're always squatting back as if you're sitting back into a chair. And
How's
you're
my
keeping
form?
your chest
You got to
up.
keep me.
It looks great.
You got to keep me honest here.
Yes. So start with sets of 10 to 15 when you're doing exercises like this. So this right here is because we have that band, we're also hitting those glutes. Yeah. Lovely. Okay, so once she finishes her squats, which that's good right there, we're going to do a lateral walk. So when she's doing that, she's going to stay down in a squat. There you go. You're going to stay down in that squat. You're leading with your foot. You're keeping that resistance in the band. And we're also working those glutes and that core. So remember, everything that we're doing, we're always squeezing our belly button in to keep that transverse abdominis
Purposeful,
tight.
thoughtful.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. I have to share really quick. This reminds me when we were camping last time with our family. My son got a metal detector, and so he was holding it over everyone's butt to see if they had buns of steel.
Oh, I love it.
This will help you have buns of
There
steel.
you go. That's right. So, speaking of buns of steel, the next one, you're going to balance or hold on to something.
Maybe when you're pregnant, that would be a good idea to make sure you don't
Yes.
fall.
That was another good. My husband was so afraid of me doing step-ups when I was
he?
pregnant. He's like, you're going to fall. We don't need to do step-ups today. I'm like, no, hon, it's fine. And that is something to be aware of, that once you have that baby bump, your balance may be off. So you might not
gravity.
feel. Yeah, your center of gravity is off. So just be aware of that. You may have to grab something and stabilize your body.
It doesn't mean you're weak.
It doesn't mean you're weak. That's right. I love that. So from here, we're going to stand up tall, engage our glutes, and just kick back. So you want to feel that glute work, squeeze as that leg is back, and come back forward. Good. So don't let that band like sling you back forward. We're always, everything slow, purposeful, and contraction. Engagement.
How many on each side?
Same thing, about 10 to 15 is a good number, good rule of thumb. And then anywhere from 2 to 3 sets, just gradually increasing as you go and you feel more comfortable and confident in your body and your abilities.
Awesome.
Okay, another one I love to do with that band is a duck walk. So you're gonna get that tension in the band, squat down, chest is up. We don't wanna be leaning forward, and we're gonna walk heel to toe. So you're just taking a small step forward and back, staying in that squatted position. Good, heel to toe. You can do that forward and backwards.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling it everywhere. It's burning.
Good. There you go. You can hit that. Perfect. Okay, so another great one, glute bridges. We'll go ahead and do that with the band. You can keep that one on. You're gonna take it down to your mat. You can do this throughout your whole entire pregnancy. If you do have issues being on your back, you can do this one on a bench where your back is elevated, or on a fitness ball. So I wish I would have brought my fitness ball. So you would be like in an inclined position, like a tabletop position, drop your glutes and back up. That's if you're on a bench. If you're not on a bench, which we're not, you're down, resting on your back, heels on the ground, and then from here we're just gonna lift our glutes up, squeeze that booty,
Having
and
the
lower
band
back down.
as resistance when you flex.
Yes. And on this one, you actually want to bring your heels in towards your butt a little bit. There you go. Now lift up. And you should feel that in the hamstrings a little bit more.
Yeah.
Now that you have. Because when you're lifted up, you want to keep that 90-degree angle with your legs. Perfect.
Awesome. I'm feeling that one too.
Good. And same thing. 10 to 15 with that one is a good rule of thumb. So we've done some core exercises, glute exercises. You can go ahead and take that band off.
Okay.
If you are lifting some weights, I have a great squat warm-up that we're going to talk about. Are you ready for it?
Ready.
Okay.
I already warned her before, I'm not flexible, so.
And this is safe throughout the entire pregnancy as well. You can do it all 3 trimesters. When you're doing this one, you're going to start at the bottom of the squat. So your feet are going to be a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and you're just going to drop straight down. When you're doing this, you want to keep those heels in the ground the whole time. So this is going to open up the heels. Open up the hips. Hip openers. So we're going to go in a prayer position. And I'll do it so you can see it from the side. So square position, or prayer position. And from there, you're going to take and just go into fists together and kind of push push on those knees to open up those hips. Wonderful. So we're gonna go from prayer to fist, from prayer to fist. And you'll see that slight movement in my knees opening up my hips. Perfect. So you just do about 8 reps of those. And then from here, we're gonna take one arm and same side. You're gonna push on that hip and you're trying to straighten your arm. And if you cannot, that's totally fine. We're just opening up that hip a little bit, keeping those heels on the ground. So press open and back. And you can do about 8 of those on each side as well. Then you want to switch. Good. Okay, I got one more. Gotta make them even. Okay, from here we're gonna open up the chest and stay in this squat position. So take your hand and you're gonna reach for the opposite foot.
Oh, this is the one I can't do.
This is the hard one.
I'm going to let you demonstrate this one. I'm not flexible enough for
So
this.
remember, your belly might be in the way, and that's okay. You can just reach for the floor. So try it. So
Reach for the floor. Okay.
yeah, just put your hand on the ground and then open up with your other arm towards the ceiling. So that's opening up that upper back. If you want more, that's when you grab your heel.
Okay.
And then reach up
I can do the
and come
floor.
back down. And you want to do about 4 of those as well. And then you're going to switch sides. Okay.
My legs are feeling
Last
it.
one.
Okay.
Burning. All right. Last one. So you're still in that squat position. Sorry. Come back down. This one feels good though.
This is why it's good to have a
Grab
trainer
those
to kick your
heels.
butt when you don't want to do it. Okay.
Grab those toes. There you go. Put your hands under your heels.
Am I
Or
too
under
far
your
out?
toes. Yeah. There we go. And now we're going to lift our hips up towards the ceiling and just stretch.
That
And
one's
come
not
back
good.
down. And then come back up and stretch. And back down.
Oh, we're sweating now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are sweating. It's hot. Whew, getting that core temperature up. So remember, if you're too hot, take it back a step. All right, so let me grab a drink too.
Yeah, see, this is real life, people.
All right, what other? Sumo squats.
Sumo squats. Let's do
Sumo
'em.
squats. That's right. Oh, and I have another exercise for the core too. So, sumo squats are going to help strengthen your legs and your glutes, but also that pelvic floor, which is so important, like during pregnancy and then, of course, after pregnancy. So, when you're doing these, we're going to point those toes out, and your heels are just wider than hips. You're going to drop straight down, keeping that chest up, driving through your heels and standing back up. So we're working that inner thigh, glutes. And as you come up, you're breathing out. So we're talking transverse abdominals.
Yeah.
When you're breathing, when you inhale, you're going to kind of relax those pelvic muscles. And when you inhale out as an S, and that's going to help you suck up. Think of an elevator shaft when it goes up.
That's a good visual.
So you're squeezing all of those pelvic floor muscles, and you'll feel them gradually contract from the bottom to the top. So that's what we're focusing on when we're doing these sumo squats. Good. Same thing, 10 to 15 of those.
Yeah.
So you don't have to do all of these exercises in one setting.
Yeah, when we're doing weights and like body weight exercises, how long should you be doing it? Or like how many reps total should you be aiming for?
I would be aiming for 10 to 15 repetitions. We're not trying to be like Superwoman here and lift crazy amounts of weights. So say you were doing 30-pound bent over rows before pregnancy, you could probably still do those throughout your pregnancy, but just take it back a notch. Listen to your body. If that feels too heavy, if that's putting too much strain on your core and you can't keep those transverse abdominals tight.
Or you're feeling like your back is strained.
Or you're
your core
feeling
is suffering.
Yeah, then drop the weight. So
I'm not trying to increase it, just maintain at the very best.
Correct. Yeah, just maintaining the whole time. There's one more, I think, exercise that I really wanted to talk about, which is called a pallet press. And you can do this with a cable machine. I have a resistance band. You can anchor this to a wall or have a buddy
I'll be your anchor.
work out with your fitness buddy to demonstrate this one. So you want just a little bit of resistance. You're going to hold that band, belly button, about right at your belly button. So you can see there's a little bit of resistance in the band. From here, I'm going to press out straight in front of my belly button. When I'm doing this, I'm sucking my abdominals in like a corset. So I'm breathing in, squeezing, and then pulling back. So this one, about 10 on each side. And then you want to, of course, turn around and hit the other side as well. But this one, wonderful, so great to do.
You can do that anytime because it doesn't you don't have to lay down to do it.
Correct. So anything that has a crunching type motion, like a forward crunch, those kind of exercises want to be eliminated after the first trimester.
Unless you do them standing. You were mentioning
right, I did mention you could do them standing. We're talking like side crunches are good. I wouldn't do anything where it's like, a full-on crunch to the center. Yeah. So like a side is great.
And again, watch your balance.
Correct. Yeah. So you can hold on to something.
Yeah.
But another great exercise is actually you can do a modified plank, which I didn't even think about. Let's do that. Modified side plank, not plank. So modified side plank, you can be on your elbow or up on your wrist.
Okay.
Okay, I'll turn to face you.
Okay.
So on your elbow, let's actually go up. Up on that wrist. You're on your knee. And we can do leg lifts from here, which is also working that side core and that glute. So you could do 10 to 15 of those. Another great safe pregnancy exercise is now bring that hip down to the ground and elbow. You want your heel in line with your butt.
Okay.
And then you're going to stack your foot on top. And then from here, we're going to drive through that forward leg and lift our hips up and slightly press them forward and come back down and up.
Yeah, I can feel that right here on the right side. Yeah.
Yes. And then that's working those glutes as well.
Butt. Yeah.
That's right. So those right there are some of my favorite exercises that I learned throughout being pregnant. I incorporate a lot of them too now, postnatal as well. Because during your pregnancy you get the diastasis recti. Recti? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, like your abs are automatically, it's kind of like when you're pregnant, before pregnancy, they're like this and all nice and put together. And after, during pregnancy, they spread a little bit.
Yes.
Sometimes they can spread too far and actually disconnect. And if there's too big of a space there, and sometimes you need physical therapy and intervention to help with that. And too many ab exercises can actually make it worse. Exactly.
So that's why a lot of these exercises are great during and after pregnancy because they're going to help strengthen that pelvic floor, the transverse abdominal, and not put that additional stress on those, on that already opened wound, I guess we'll call it.
Well, and back pain is so common for women after they've had a baby.
Correct.
And a lot of people tend to think like, oh, what is causing this? Maybe it's because I had an epidural or something, but that's not it, because epidurals don't cause chronic back pain. It's usually because of weakened abdominals.
Weakened abdominals and glutes as well. Like those
that's what supports your back.
Yeah, they tie into each other so much. Tight hip flexors, because we are in a world where we sit so much, so those tight hip flexors can cause a lot of that back pain as well. So just stretching those hip flexors is so great and important as well.
How do you stretch your hip flexors? What's the best way to do that?
There's several different ways. You can have, hold on. You can be in a running position. So this leg is bent at 90 degrees. And then you have your heel or your knee on the ground. And from here, you just kind of lean forward. And that's going to stretch that hip flexor. Yeah. You need more of a stretch. You just lift your arm up.
That makes a big difference.
And kind of stretch to the side. So that's probably one of the safest ways to stretch your hip flexor.
Yeah, and after all those squats we just did, that feels fantastic.
Yeah. If you need a little more stretch, you can lift up that heel and get more of a stretch.
I'm not going to do that. I'll fall over for sure.
Yeah, that's a great one. Okay. Even just a standing hip flexor stretch is great as well. keeping those knees in line with each other. Squeezing your glute and pushing your hips slightly forward is going to get a little bit more of a stretch. Yeah. I'm going to hit the other one.
Is there anything else that you feel like would be helpful for women to know about exercise in pregnancy?
Like we said in the very beginning, I just think it's so great for women to just stay active throughout their pregnancy. Doesn't matter what you do. Strength training is great. That's my favorite form, but I know there's a lot of women out there that don't love it. So body weight exercises, which is a lot of what we showed you already. Mm-hmm. Getting out and walking is great. There's a lot of prenatal yoga out there as well. That is amazing and super safe.
And that may help with some of the discomforts of pregnancy that you experience anyway.
Yeah. Just take care of your body while you're pregnant. You're growing a human, and it's such an amazing experience. So staying healthy and fit during that is just going to help with that recovery, and you're going to feel so much better afterwards too.
Great advice. I love it. Thank you so much. And where can people find you and learn more?
You can find me on Instagram. It's Trista_Harrison. I'm on Facebook as well. You can look me up, Trista Harrison. But those are the two places. I also train at Anytime Fitness in Sugar House. Amazing gym. And, I do online fitness coaching as well. So I'm kind of all over the place.
Awesome. Well, that gives people lots of different opportunities to interact and learn more from you.
Exactly.
Thanks for giving me a good workout today. I appreciate it. And of course, if you guys have any questions for me, you know where you can find me on Intermountain Moms Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Have a great day.